I'm here with the UFO Disclosure Symposium with James Keenan, and we were just sitting here discussing the incredible lineup of everybody that's coming to the symposium this year. James, you're one of those people. I can't believe that this is all happening since we met last year in October, and we've been on a couple of podcasts, but here we are. May 27th through the 29th, we're going to be up there in the Uintah Basin again with a stellar lineup, James.
Yeah, it's crazy how this just came together so quickly. And, you know, it's a great opportunity to be part of it and to look at the other presenters. You have Dr. Taylor and Dr. Segala and Professor Hynek, and it's just nuts who was pulled together for the symposium. And then to, find out what is going to be disclosed is really pretty. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not one or two or three, but it's four different videos that are going to be disclosed, and I'm really excited. And I think that everybody that takes the time to go up to Vernal, Utah, is just they're gonna be elated with their decision for having attended the conference. And I think it's even great. I know a few people already that couldn't make it up there, but they have the live stream, and one of them already purchased their tickets, and I think it was like $20 off already. So it was like you get 3 days of getting to hear everybody for I think it was like $49.99 right now, which was just an unbelievable deal when you look at who's going to be talking and what they're going to be getting to see for the first time.
Yeah, it's unprecedented. The value is tremendous for the live streamers. And like you said, especially for the people attending in person, getting to see these four pieces of UFO footage that have not been released yet. And we're not going to be able to talk about it a whole lot in a lot of detail, but you and I are a little bit familiar with this and the people revolving around it. And James, you're an integral part of this. You've been involved in this kind of research in the region for a long time. So maybe for those who aren't familiar with you and your body of work up to now, tell everybody a little bit about what you do and how it applies to the symposium.
Sure. So, real quickly, my background, I have 20 plus years in investigations. Part of that was in law enforcement. Another part of it was private investigations for retail companies and insurance companies doing all their fraud investigating. So, I understand how to investigate boots on the ground, research through the computer or through documents, and meeting and having these one-on-one interviews with individuals. And after 20 plus years, I was just so burned out of that. And my educational background was I went to UCSB and I got a degree in biological sciences and a degree in interdisciplinary studies, with a major focus being in anthropology and archaeology. And I'd always thought that I was going to, delve into that as a career. And when I was in Mexico doing my excavations for my credits and at these sites, I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, unless you become a doctor and have PhD after your name, which I had never planned on doing, you really can't make much of a career of it. So now that I have the opportunity, I decided I've been doing this for a long time, continuing doing it, but to really study and research what I'm most interested in, which is this lost history that we've had. We've had these gaps in humanity's history that go back. It has to be into the millions of years as to who was here before us. And there's so many reasons for this loss, whether it's this huge general amnesia or some of it's on purpose being hidden. Others are cataclysmic events that have caused us to, lose cultures and knowledge of civilizations. And in the course of studying this, from a researcher and boots on the ground investigator, it started tying into something that I also, have a lot of history in from a child. I had an NDE experience before I was 2.
Hmm.
And it opened me up to a lot of what I would consider high strangeness. And I never let that go. I think it's always seeked me out, and I kind of like to try to find the science behind it. Uh, but it was weird because it also turns out that it went hand in hand with a lot of this lost cultures and civilizations and the history that we're missing. You know, the who, what, when, where, how, and the why just isn't there. But over the last 5 years, I'm hoping that I've been able to, you know, start bridging gaps for people, for myself. It's given me the opportunity to write 8 books. My newest book just came out, The Giant and the Golden Underworld, a week and a half ago. And I write fiction because I just enjoy creating a storyline and teaching children and adolescents and teenagers and young adults, you know, different lessons that I think are important to me that I learned while I was in law enforcement. But I also have a lot of information that needs to be given to the public. And unfortunately, I have some non-disclosure agreements, or, you know, at the time when I was writing my first couple of books, I was still working. And if I had put out what I was doing, I wouldn't have had a job the next day.
Right.
So it gave me that opportunity to meld not just this great story, but to really put out a lot of information, especially about the areas that I'm most interested in and concerned about, which would be Mesoamerica, Scotland, Ireland, Armenia, and the desert southwest in the United States, specifically the Uinta Basin and the Uinta Mountains in northeastern Utah, which happens to be where the symposium is being held in Vernal.
Yeah, that's the thing that people need to realize that are coming to the event is when they come up there to the symposium, they're going to be right in the epicenter of a tremendous amount of historical intrigue and interesting phenomenon going on.
Yeah.
Everything from strangeness, high strangeness occurring in the basin and throughout the entire region, but UFO sightings and all sorts of government projects and involvement. And you've been revolving around this and studying it from all different angles. And so you've been involved in the archaeology side of it, the anthropology side, and studying the ancient history and the petroglyphs. You've been able to write some books about that to reach the younger audience and be able to propose some of these theories and ideas to them. But at the core of it, the symposium is revolving around these 4 new pieces of footage and these the UFO phenomenon and maybe what's going on there. And I'm really fascinated with your opinion on all of that and how what you're most excited about when it comes to these pieces of footage and how that all ties in.
Yeah, you know, like you said, there's so much I can talk about, and gosh, I'd love to go into, you know, more detail, but I'll try to keep it to a minimum. You know, Vernal and the Uinta Basin are a UFO alley. I mean, that's a fact. You've seen it from thousands of years ago in artifacts and petroglyphs, pictographs that that's what it looks like. And I understand that's subjective, but when you just keep seeing the same different anthropomorphic and zoomorphic features in these petroglyphs, pictographs, it's hard to deny what was being seen. And then you just go back through the 1800s and the 1900s and, you know, the early 21st century with just all the sightings that have been recorded and the documentation, whether it be from the BIA on the Ute Reservation or through MUFON or, you know, some other agency, or through Junior Hicks, who had been studying and researching it locally for 50, 60 plus years. And then to see these 4 videos that are very similar to what was brought out and disclosed in 2017, you know, off of the coast of California. It's amazing. And then to know that these 4 videos, where they came from, you know, adds to it. And I'm not sure what I can talk about, so I'll leave that up to you. But who and how it was brought out in and of itself is really pretty amazing. And I think when people go to the symposium or they're listening on the live stream, I don't know if they're going to be blown away. I think it may go past that because um, I think what we have may involve even greater detail and information more so than what has already occurred.
I agree. I haven't even personally been able to see all of the footage, but just like you, I've been able to vet the sources and I know where they came from. And what I have been privy to, I'm absolutely excited for. And May 27th through the 29th, we're going to be able to be up there in the basin and see them all revealed, do the analysis. And I cannot wait. I'm excited to see what your opinions are, get to watch the footage and be there among all these professional, like-minded people that are going to be sitting around the same table having this conversation and trying to change the world. So I'm excited for it, James, and that you're going to be there with me too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because there's several physicists that are going to be speaking and that are going to be there and involved in this heavily. And I believe there's other groups that are coming to look at the video and give their professional opinion
Mm-hmm.
as to what they're seeing, and just kind of vet not just what is being disclosed in the video, but from who, how it was, had. I think all of that plays into how important these can be. And like you, I haven't had the opportunity to see all of them, just bits and pieces of one or two. But I have had the opportunity to meet that person or people that brought them out, and be able to vet that individual and where this information came from.
I'm very excited about it. And if you haven't got your tickets yet, guys, and you're watching this, you got to go get them now. The UFO Disclosure Symposium up in Vernal, Utah, May 27th through the 29th. Don't miss it. You're going to want to hear James's presentation there. I'm sure it's going to be stellar. I'm going to be trying to sit up right by the front row. In fact, I'm probably going to be there interviewing you off to the side for part of the live stream. And I
Sounds
cannot
good.
wait. I cannot wait. So we'll
Yeah,
see you there, James.
yeah. The venue, if you haven't been there, this venue is brand new, and I mean, it seems like it came from a large city and just was planted there for something like this to occur in it. So it's going to be great. And again, Carl, it's going to be good to see you there.
I can't wait. We'll see you there, James.
Sounds good.